Hello everyone, it is July 8th, 2022. Welcome to another Open Cluster Management Community Meeting. Thank you all for joining. Today we have two agendas. The first one is Yuan. It's going to take us through the 0.8.0 Open Cluster Management release. And then afterwards, Zhenghua is going to talk a little bit about the placement policy proposal that he's going to share with us. So without further delay, Yuan, please take it away. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. Oh, sorry. So Mike, do mind helping me share the release dashboard? I have problem with Zoom to share my screen.
I can share the screen. Give me one sec.
Okay, thank you so much. So today we plan to GA 0.8.0 and thanks everyone for your great contribution to this release. I went through all the community issues and add those close ones to this done list. For today, I think there seems a lot of great new features added in this release, including several new repos. I think at first we can quickly go through all those finished ones, and if we have contributors in this call, you can simply introduce your new features for others to better understand. And there might be some issues that the status has not been updated accordingly. So if we miss anything, please let me know. Okay, so the first three things relate to the policy. Do we have any owners here in this call to introduce them? Okay, so Tujian, do you know any of these three issues?
Yeah, I think this one, the 122 is to install the policy add-on separately using the cluster EDM. So currently in this release, we can support install the policy add-ons using the cluster EDM install command, and then enable the add-on. Yeah. And the next, the other two is about some API update, like there's a new policy side API added into the policy add-on, and they changed the namespace selector in the policy API. Yeah.
Yeah, and the next.
Yeah, so for 123, it's the enhancement on the work that we introduced a new field called update strategy in the manifest work. So you can currently specify what's the update strategy. Like you can use server-side apply for the manifest work, or you can use create only. The server-side apply means that when the manifest in the work is applied on the managed cluster, you don't use the update call, but use a patch call with server-side apply. It can help to resolve the conflict when you have multiple manifest work specifying the same resources. And create only just means that we will just create but not update the resource. So this is being merged in a work repo.
Okay. Next one, multi-hub architecture for managed cluster.
Okay, with this feature, a cluster can be managed by multiple hubs. This one only covers the clusterlet part. So the support of add-on in the multiple hub scenario is still going.
Okay, thanks, Yang. Next one, placement enhancement. To support selecting global scoped cluster.
Yeah, for this one, we add another default cluster set. So in 0.7, we have a default cluster set. But in 0.8, if you enable the default cluster set feature gate, another cluster set named as global cluster set will add it, automatically created. And the global cluster set just means that all the clusters will be added in a global cluster set automatically. And so this is just to enhance user experience when user want to use the cluster set banding, and placement.
Thanks. Next one is a new repo from policy component. So I went through the description. Seems it's adding the new APIs for policy framework to use. So there's no features, but some common libraries. Next one, 144. So
This one. Sorry,
please,
go ahead.
please, Mike, please.
This one is the VS Code extension that a community contributor added. So he demoed how we can help develop OCM, as well as using sort of like a first walkthrough of having a user interface for OCM. So this repo hosts that VS Code extension. That's it.
Thanks, Mike. Next one, new repo for multi-class mesh. So, Long is not in this code, so Tujan, do you want to help?
Oh yeah, it's another add-on that has been discussed in the community meeting, and we include this add-on in OCM to deploy and manage the Istio across multiple clusters. So there are some doc in the OCM main repo. I mean the OCM repo in the OCM arc, and there are some steps on how to use that. So if anyone is interested, can try that doc to try that add-on.
Thanks. Okay, next one, seems it's an enhancement for our website to link to the community release roadmap. So.
Yep, it's just a small documentation, website enhancement. It's done.
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, for the in progress one, 37, it's a follow-up for our last user experience survey, and we added several issues to help users understand how OCM can help in different user scenarios. Since part of the work has been done in this release, we still have like 3 issues open there. So for this one, I think we will keep improving in 0.9.0. So those are all the things that have been done in 0.8.0. So do we miss any work that has been done in this release but not added to this dashboard?
Yeah, I think there are some app enhancement that came in the last minute. I will create the issues and add them to the board later. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, there are also some change on the Classless API, like the API has a new field called feature gates that you can enable the feature gates in a Classless and Class Manager, and also another host alias field in the Classless. So I don't think we create that issue for them. Yeah, maybe I will create it also and put it in the doc.
Okay, thank you, Chujin. So we will wrap up all the work and do the GA by this week. So any concerns for this? And also for next release 0.9.0, I think we can start planning some work, including those in the to-do list and maybe other things in our plan, pre-log issues in community. So I will add them to the dashboard later. And the next release GA time based on our regular plan, it would be in the early October. So any comments or suggestions? Yeah, since October 7th is Chinese holiday, maybe we will do it before or after that week. Okay, I will send a message to the community Slack channel to kick off next release and call for actions. I think that's all from my side. So any questions?
I have a particular issue that I am interested in. One of the stakeholder from the community wants to know, is this work item being actively developed on? I checked the manifest work API, and the API changes has been done, and in the enhancement repo, the design seems to be done as well. But it seems to be missing the implementation changes. It's Minkim is not on right now. Kujan, do you know? I guess you might not know, but do you know the status of this the implementation of this change?
Oh, yeah. So currently I think we have the API merged, but we haven't implemented the feature yet. So this is going to be put in the next release.
Thank you. And are there any other questions regarding the 0.8.0 release? Any comments, Kujan, regarding when we should cut the branch and other comments that you might have?
Yeah, I think we can start tag and cutting a branch today. I don't expect that we will do that all today, but we could have maybe like 1 week to finish the work, and after that we will send a PR about the release announcement and let everyone to review.
Thank you, Kujan.
Yeah, does it make sense? Like we could have 1 week as
I think it makes sense. I think that's what we usually do, and it seems to be working out.
Okay.
Any other comments regarding the 0.8 release before we move on to the next topic? Okay, is Jinhua, thank you for attending this meeting, and thank you for creating the proposal on the enhancement. Do you want to give a little presentation regarding your topic, please?
I made some slides.
Yeah, please try sharing them if you can. Thank you.
I will share a draft proposal about the spread policy across failure domains in placement APIs. So if you have any comments, just interrupt me. I'm about to introduce this topic following the motivation, the API proposal, and the potential implementation. Let's start with the motivation. In this section, I will give some use case. Use case 1 is about user-defined topology. Company A that only use private clouds may organize its clusters by regions and zones, but a company B that also use public clouds may have an extra provider. Hence, the topology structure can be different in different companies. To support this scenario, topologies are designed to be labels or class claims on the managed cluster object. Use case 2 is about even spread. For load balancing purpose, we may want to spread the workload to the topologies evenly. If we want to pick 2 clusters from the topology structure in the figure to achieve even spread, we expect the scheduler to pick cluster 1 or cluster 2 plus cluster 3. The blue box here indicates a selected cluster. Use case 3 is about cluster affinity spread. Sometimes we may want to put the workload to some topologies if they can provide enough clusters. Otherwise, put the remaining workload to other topologies. As an example, we prefer US East 1A than US East 1B and try to avoid the workload placement on US West 1A. The placement decision is illustrated by the figure. If we only want 1 cluster, it should be from US East 1A. If we want 3 clusters, any of them shouldn't be from the US West 1A. It is worth noting that these rules are soft constraints. Use case 4 is about joint spread. If a topology structure contains multiple topology keys, we want the rules on them to work independently and jointly. For example, if we want even spread across the 2 regions, then prefer zone US West 1A, the placement decision may look like this. Use case 5 and 6 are out of scope of this proposal. Use case 5 is about the spread with ratio. Let's consider a scenario where when the request to our workload differs in different physical regions, we may want to put more workload on region A and less on region B. The example here illustrates a 2-to-1 ratio for US East 1 and US West 1. Use case 6 is about max Q. We want to control the max degree of unsatisfiable spreads. Now let's look at the API proposal. The core part is a spread constraints array in the placement object. Besides, we need a number of clusters field to specify the total number of needed clusters and the predicates field to pre-filter some clusters. Each element in the spread constraints arrays is a spread rule on a topology key. Its type can be even or affinity. These rules work independently and jointly. For affinity rule, an extra topology weight field is included to express affinity, anti-affinity, and their weights. Here, I plan to group the select-like rules on the same topology key together instead of use vanilla level selector or claim selectors for clarity. Finally, is the implementation section. Here is the current scheduling framework employed in the placement operator. First, all available clusters are selected, and then they are filtered by some filters. In the figure, cluster 1 is filtered out, and the remaining clusters are consumed by some prioritizers, and give each cluster a score. And then the clusters are sorted by the score, and finally selected following the order provided by the score. Here, the cluster 3 is selected. Here is the potential implementation. I want to modify the select phase and assume we want an even spread across US East 1 and US West 1, and assume we need 2 clusters, and this part is sorted clusters, and they are going to be consumed by a modified select implementation, and then cluster 3 and cluster 2 are selected. Or this mechanism can be implemented as a prioritizer in a more standard way. Here is all I want to share. Do you have any comments?
Yeah, I think this is really good. I think from the use case part, the affinity makes sense. I think maybe we could have some more real example. For example, for the affinity, we can part of it. Some of use cases I can think of is like if you have some different cluster in a different cloud, and a certain cloud have some kind of database service that your application really needed, and you can set an affinity to those certain cloud. Or we can see that because the database is deployed on this certain cloud, so the application must affinity to this cloud. And there's also use cases like I want all my applications in my local cloud, but not on other cloud, because of the data protection policy, etc. So I think that is all very valid use case. Maybe you can also think of any other use cases that more in the real world that can help us to validate why we need even use case distribution mechanism, why we need an affinity and anti-affinity use case.
Yes, this is a good suggestion. I will consider add some real-world examples to my proposal.
Any other comments? Li Yan, do you have any comment regarding this proposal?
Yes, actually, I have a question about the API. Do you have a strategy which indicate how we can, how should we continue schedule if we cannot meet the requirement? For example, the topology type is even, but we cannot meet this requirement. Should we continue schedule or will skip this schedule?
Yes, this is out of the scope of this proposal. This idea can be treated as a future work.
But since we has already introduced the even spreading strategy, right?
Yes.
If we cannot do the even scheduling, even spreading scheduling, how should the scheduler do?
At present, all the rules here are software rules.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
For the API, I'll notice the tab you have even and affinity. I think this is good for this spread policy, but seems the usage is a bit different from the Kubernetes. At Kubernetes, we have affinity and spread constraints. They are separate sections. I'm not sure if others have any concern for this usage. We don't need to discuss it today, but I think this is a concern I have.
Yes.
Yeah, we maybe need to continue the discussion in the channel.
Any other topics? I mean, any other comments regarding this API proposal? If not, thank you so much, Zhenhua, for
Many
presenting
thanks.
this proposal. Hopefully, we'll get some additional feedback on the on our Slack Open Cluster Management channel. And last call for any comments, any topics that anyone want to bring up. If not, thank you everyone for joining. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.